Thanks for listening to Cool Meanderings with Dr. Germ G. Welcome back to the Cool Meanderings podcast with Dr. Germ G. Thanks very much for listening. I'm your host, Dr. Germ G. I'm on because I just finished watching episode 7 of season 2 for Daredevil Born Again. And given that there's only one episode left, I feel like it's a good time to maybe give both a review of the second season of Daredevil Born Again, but also some predictions on what I think might happen, and maybe if there's time, if I'm not too sleepy, I might talk a little bit about what I think is, or what I'm looking forward to with the MCU. As you know, Daredevil Born Again is a continuation of the Daredevil Netflix series that starred Charlie Cox and Deborah Ann Wall. That was on Netflix maybe 6-7 years ago for 3 seasons. And of course, Vincent D'Onofrio, who plays the Kingpin. Well, they brought all those characters back for 2 seasons of Daredevil Born Again, which is a soft reboot, but a continuation of that Netflix series. Anyway, the first season of Daredevil Born Again, I thought was okay. I thought it picked up. We had the shocking death of Foggy Nelson, played by Eldon Henson, at the beginning of Daredevil Born Again season 1. And that basically, the season revolved around that storyline and some of the ups and downs of Matt Murdock coming to terms with seeing the death of his friend, but also coming to terms with the responsibility of being a vigilante and what that meant to him. And there were some other interesting story arcs in season 1. I was a little bit disappointed by what they did with the character of that was played by Hunter Duhan. He was supposed to be a version of, he was supposed to be a version of a character that should have had staying power in the Daredevil series, because it's okay. So pretty much the main villain for Daredevil in the comics and in the series has been Kingpin, played by Vincent D'Onofrio, but Duhan's character, which was Muse, or a version of Muse, seemed to give us the possibility of a completely different villain arc. But unfortunately, that didn't work out, as that character was killed off in the first season when he was fighting Margarita Levieva's character, Heather Glenn. Well, I bring it up because, it was a little bit disappointing, and I felt like it was emblematic of the first season. I mean, the first season had some highlights. You had Frank Castle, John Bernthal back as Frank Castle, and you had the Mayor Fisk plot, which has been interesting. I've enjoyed that. But I think season 2 brings together the Daredevil story in a way that is somewhat reminiscent of what we saw with the Netflix series. There seems to be a better threading of sort of the crime story that really drives what Daredevil is about. Daredevil is definitely a street level character, definitely a New York, Manhattan, Hell's Kitchen type of character. And it's all about fighting those ground level wars with mobsters like, Kingpin, who's now the mayor. And look, I think it's a really good adaptation of several Daredevil comics. I like what they did. I do. I also liked how they handled Bullseye's character here in the second season. I don't want to give too many spoilers away, but I do think that the dynamic between Bullseye and Daredevil is quite interesting. I think it leaves the door open for opportunities for Wilson Bethel's character of Bullseye to be potentially an ongoing, maybe a character that we see in the future of MCU content as potentially an anti-hero, someone that's involved with the CIA and what Val is doing with recruiting sort of not a dark Avengers, but sort of a continuation of the Thunderbolts, where you had these different types of anti-heroes, people that were looking for a path to redemption, but also really didn't have many options outside of joining a situation where they were being leveraged against by someone like Val Fontaine. And in this series, one of her lieutenants, played by Matthew Lillard, going by Mr. Charles. So I thought it was good. I thought the show did a good job of really tying in so many interesting plot points. I don't know. It feels a lot more complete compared to season 1. And I mean, I would say the only underwhelming part of season 2 is probably the appearance of Kristen Ritter. And I think that's a byproduct of just having an image of Kristen Ritter's Jessica Jones as the character that we saw in a Netflix series, particularly in her own series, as well as in the Defenders miniseries. She's not quite like that in the Daredevil Born Again MCU show. I mean, you see iterations of it. Obviously, a lot of time has passed. She's a mom now. Spoiler alert. And we also find out, as a result, though, what's happened to, say, Luke Cage during that period. We get a sense of what he's been up to as well. So it's really interesting. It's not that I didn't like her appearance in the show. I just thought that I don't know. Now, granted, I think we get one more episode, and she will appear in episode 8. So I'm excited about that. But I don't know. I guess I was expecting more, but then when you think of all that has been thread together in 7 episodes, it's probably asking for too much. I think that the showrunners did an excellent job of really tying in a lot of things. You get the end of Vanessa Fisk's story arc in the season 2. You get to see, and as a result, you get to see Wilson Fisk sort of go through these different stages of grief that he's still in the middle of as we enter the final episode of season 2. It's very interesting stuff. Clearly, his political fortunes are tenuous. We'll see what happens, but it's not looking good for Wilson Fisk. Nor is it looking too great for Karen Page, who is now on trial, and probably for Matt Murdock too, because Karen Page going on trial is going to clearly bring him out into the public. So I'm curious to see how they tie that up together at the end. I really enjoyed Michael Gandolfini's character of Daniel Blake. Excellent job. I thought, it's interesting because you feel a little bit what Artie Froshen's character of Buck Cashman felt in episode 7. I felt that connection too. I'll just leave it there, but I felt that too. Like, as if I had grown to really like Gandolfini's character throughout the season, throughout these 2 seasons. And so it's interesting to see his character take a turn in this episode. Yeah, but I enjoyed that. I enjoyed his story arc and his dynamic with B.B. Urick, Janiah Walton's B.B. Urick. Yeah, overall, I thought it was pretty good season. You know, again, we'll see how it ends, but based on all the spoilers and rumors out there, sounds like I have a few ideas as to how it will likely end and set things up for season 3, but I'm not going to give too much away. But I would say I would give Daredevil Born Again season 2 an A-, and only an A-. I would say A-. Okay, there are 2 things. There is, I've mentioned the okay-ish appearances of Christian Ritter as Jessica Jones. Again, I mean, there's so much going on in Daredevil Born Again season 2 that it's unfair to ask them to unpack so much of Jessica and then tell the story that they told throughout the season. It's just too much. So that's fair. But I would say that, and also I'm a little on the fence about Heather Glenn, only because she seems to still be dealing with some PTSD from her encounter with Muse in the first season, and it looks like maybe they're hinting at some sort of transformation that will carry over into season 3. Maybe, I mean, we'll see. Maybe it doesn't. But it definitely, at a minimum, they're alluding to some sort of connection that is altering her personality during this season and setting her up for something. Look, there is a show. Livieva has a show or a movie on. Yeah, she has a show on Netflix where, if you watch that show, you have to just Google. You have to search her on Netflix, and you'll see what show I'm referring to. But there's a show where she's the main protagonist. It's an action show, and after you watch that, when you see what they're trying to do, it's somewhat believable. Honestly, I had hoped that she would secretly be Elektra, but that clearly did not work out. So that's fine. But what they're sort of hinting at, I could kind of see. I still think it was a waste of the Muse character, but whatever. Anyway, I do think they were wise not to overdo it with Camila Rodriguez's White Tiger. I think, sort of giving us hints as to what she might do as a future White Tiger was good, but not overdoing it. I thought that was good. I really like Artie Fraushen's Buck Cashman character. I'm very curious to see what happens to him in episode 8, if he's brought back for season 3. He seems like a survivor, but we'll see. I do, just to get a few predictions in, I do expect to see maybe 1 or 2 more deaths in episode 8. I think Clark Johnson's character, the cop that's been helping Matt, he's probably gone in episode 8. I wonder about the lawyer for Fisk. He's Benjamin. He plays Benjamin Hawkback. His real name is John Benjamin Hickey. I do wonder if he is probably also due for an exit. He's basically trying the case. He's prosecuting Karen. I do think that he's probably done. And I wonder about some of the task force, specifically Powell, played by Hamish Allen Headley. I wonder if he's probably gone too. If he'll be a casualty in episode 8. There's going to be a few casualties. Now, I don't know if Daredevil or Matt Murdock will be the reason why they die. It could be Fisk, who knows? Or Jessica Jones, who knows? Or you know what? I wonder if Bullseye is done, or if we see one more good deed from Bullseye at the end of episode 8. But I think that the way this season ends is with Karen getting off and Matt probably finding himself in a precarious situation, creating a cliffhanger. Maybe he ends up going to prison, or maybe he ends up disappearing, as you know, the governor and the CIA oust Kingpin and force Wilson Fisk into hiding. I would not be shocked if we get a Julia Louis-Dreyfus sighting in the final episode. She plays Val LaFontaine, sort of the main antagonist from the Thunderbolts and a few other movies in the MCU. She's a power broker, someone that, right now she's running the CIA, but she's really involved with recruiting a lot of anti-heroes or villains to work for the government. So I wonder if we'll see her in episode 8. I also think that I think Buck's character's fate is a question mark. On the one hand, I could see Fisk going into a rage and choking him, but I can also see him sort of going his own way and sort of being loyal to Fisk, but also figuring out that he's got to go his own way, lay low for now, and maybe he'll pop back up in season 3. I could see that. Yeah. Oh, and of course, Sheila Rivera, she is going to end up, I think, taking over for Fisk and becoming the acting mayor, as we head into the Punisher special presentation in mid-May, and then eventually Spider-Man Brand New Day later this summer. Based on the trailer, it looks like Sheila is either running for mayor or had recently run for mayor and was elected. We know that she's on TV giving Spider-Man the key to the city. So there is that. Lots of interesting pieces that will come together in the next couple of months. So, it's interesting because there have been some reports that viewership for Daredevil Born Again Season 2 is down about 50% from Season 1. And I can kind of understand why some people may not be as interested. I mean, given the story arc, if you haven't seen the 3 seasons on Netflix, some of it may be hard to follow. There's some nuance in some of the dialogue, particularly between Karen and Bullseye and Karen and Matt, where like if you don't know, or even with Wilson Fisk and Karen, just like for instance, Fisk approaches Karen while she's in prison and references people that she's taken from him, and unless you've watched the series from the beginning, you won't really understand the full weight of what he's saying, and that's fine. I mean, listen, the series, part of the reason why it's a continuation is because that Netflix series did so well. But this is 6, 7, 8 years later. Content and streaming have exploded since then. There's so many options now. I mean, first of all, these characters were not under they're under the Disney umbrella now. They are now a part of the MCU. So, Disney has other branches of content. So, yeah, you have a lot of competing interest. I mean, you've got shows like The Boys on Amazon Prime. You've got Invincible. I mean, you have a lot more options now. And not to say that there weren't viable alternatives to the Daredevil Netflix show back then, but now it just seems to be just I wouldn't say an oversaturation, but a healthy amount, probably a little more than healthy, a pretty substantial amount of content out there for just about everybody. So it's understandable that, that Daredevil is going to, I mean, look, I love Daredevil. Daredevil's a great Marvel character. I think for the street level stories, he works. He works better than, say, a Hawkeye and quite frankly, better than the Iron Fist. I thought the Iron Fist Netflix show was okay. It was okay. But to me, like the jewel content of that whole collection of Netflix shows was Daredevil. And look, that's cool. But at the end of the day, Daredevil is still a lower tier Marvel character. He's not like on the level of the Avengers or Spider-Man or even the Hulk. I mean, he's a street level character. I mean, Spider-Man is too, but Spider-Man there's a duality or Spider-Man's multi-layered. He can be both a street level character, but also, an Avengers upper level character. I mean, we saw Spider-Man in space during the Infinity Saga. So, I mean, now granted, Spider-Man had some help from Tony Stark, but still, these are different level characters. And so you have to consider that too. I mean, look, I think Daredevil is a show primarily for diehards who love the character, who really appreciated the Netflix series. And I thought, for what it's worth, I know that season 1 had a bit more of a creative take than maybe some of the cast appreciated, because it sort of deviated a little bit too far from what made the show work. And they rightfully had to, rework some things. But, at the end of the day, Daredevil has a niche following. Daredevil's not Captain America. So, and that's okay. Listen, Daredevil still has plenty of viewers, and I'm among them. And, that's fine. I don't think there's reason to be concerned or alarmed. I mean, I think that overall, look, yes, the MCU, I know this is a business and it's about, getting views and generating profits. That's fine. But, as someone who is a fan of those shows, listen, I think it's fine. I think it's just fine. I think Marvel's doing just fine with their content, better than they were, say, 2-3 years ago. They have come a long way from Secret Invasion, which was a crushing disappointment. Between Secret Invasion and the Marvels, those two, and Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, the trifecta of disappointment. That was a trifecta of disappointment. But we are far from that point now. In fact, I am somewhat hyped for what's to come after Spider-Man Brand New Day. Of course, I'm alluding to the growing buzz for Avengers Doomsday, where we finally get to see Doctor Doom. There's lots of chatter about the trailer that dropped at CinemaCon, which is awesome. I haven't seen it, so I am not going to comment on other views. Those that were privileged to see it, that's awesome. I'll wait until I see it. And quite frankly, I'm a little bit burnt out from I wouldn't say burnt out, but I'm a little bit exhausted from all of the little spoilers that seem to come on YouTube about, Avengers Doomsday, Avengers Secret Wars, the X-Men. There is a little bit of fatigue, spoiler fatigue, or, it's like, guys, I understand it's exciting, it's coming, but, unless you have something concrete, well, I shouldn't say that, let's not play the speculation game, because if that's what you do, that's what you do. I guess just for me, it's been a little bit exhausting. I just want to see the trailer. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to hate on people that are, dropping hints and spoilers about what's to come. I do appreciate it. I think I'm just fatigued. I just need to see this trailer. I need to lock in mentally and get that excitement building, because I need to shake off all that skepticism that's grown after all the disappointment of Secret Invasion, the Marvels, which was okay but not great, Thor Love and Thunder, Ant-Man and Quantumania. It's time. I'm so ready. I'm so ready. So ready for Doom. I just wanted to get here, but I want it to be good. I mean, I want it to blow. I want it to be blown away. I'm hoping for fans that we are blown away by Avengers Doomsday, and then we'll get to Secret Wars. If Doomsday blows us away, Secret Wars may end up being anticlimactic. I mean, we kind of get what's going to happen somewhat. We know that in Secret Wars, Doom will... The question is how they do it. We know that, we'll have some version of God Emperor Doom, but there'll be a catalyst to eventually get him to either cede power or to lose power in some way, shape, or form. We don't know. The question is how that happens. And of course, what happens as a result, which is presumably when Marvel will do its soft reboot or its complete reboot of the MCU. But that's fine. That's fine. My only hope is that they keep some version of Doctor Doom around for the foreseeable future, as opposed to him being a one-off villain who's here for one or two major films and then he's killed off at the end. No, I don't think that's okay this time. I think Doom is the kind of character that you have to keep around. I mean, there's just too much story to tell. You can't tell Doom's story in 2 movies. You can't do it. You can't do it. You just can't. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, for now, I'm just relatively pleased with season 2 of Daredevil Born Again. I did get to see the Invincible, which I thought was pretty cool. Season 4 of Invincible, that was cool. I haven't really watched The Boys yet. I think I'm going to wait until all the episodes drop and then I'll watch The Boys. I don't know. I just of the 3, that's the one where I'm not as eager to see it. I'm pretty sure that they're going to surprise us with a unexpected ending, but for now, I've enjoyed season 2 of Daredevil Born Again. I think the season will probably end on some sort of cliffhanger. Maybe Matt's fate will be sort of in limbo at the end of the season, which would completely make sense. But who knows? We'll find out next Tuesday, right? Well, I just wanted to get on and just talk a little bit about what I thought of the second season of Daredevil Born Again, but especially tonight's episode. So, Hey, what did you think? Are you happy with this reincarnation of Daredevil from the Netflix series to Disney Plus? Did you enjoy season 1 more than season 2? Or are you like me, you felt like season 2 took it to the next level? Well, hey, I'd love to hear from you. You can definitely leave me a comment. You can on YouTube, or I'm also on Instagram. You can also email me at drjermg, drjermg at coolmeanderings.com. If you like to email. Maybe email is for the old folks. So just follow me. You can listen to my podcast on Spotify, Amazon Music, definitely on YouTube. I'm around. All right? I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening. Until next time, I am out. This is the Cool Meanderings podcast with Dr. Germ G.